butterfly sea moss powder. Take your daily routine to the next level. Natural vegan superfood powder, essential multivitamin powder made just for you.
One love, Delta 9 travelers. One love. What's going on? New day, and listen, there's never ever a dull moment in Guyana, and there's always so much going on internationally. We're talking today the former finance minister about certain things that might not have been progressing since independence. We're talking about 60 years. So we're taking a 2020 analysis and we're looking back to really see what's going on. Hindsight is 2020. So we're analyzing what really taking place. Are we progressing as a nation, or something else we're dealing with altogether? Plus, some very strong allegations coming out towards our president. This will send this one. Nonetheless, as we analyze this whole thing, who sent this one? But at the same time, what's going on with these strong allegations that are being made? Why now? So many aspects, so many things to analyze. We're going to get into it in this presentation. And Honorable Mr. Todd will be making some very firm analysis on a number of things that's going on within our country. Because what's going on with all of these infrastructural funding, and then we see no real return on investment. A number of things we're going to be analyzing. If you haven't already, thumbs up the video, because we're about to start to jump in to these headlines right here on Delta 9 Media. And if you would like to support the channel, become a channel member. The barcode is right above my head. Big up to all the travelers that are here in the live right now, all the frequent travelers, and all the ones that are going to catch this one in the rewind in the future, all the new persons that are seeing the channel for the very, very first time. Subscribe. Make sure that you are staying updated with everything that's trending in Guyana and in the diaspora. Because recently, we had our 60th independence. We had a little problem with the flag. We're not going to highlight the over here. You see me flag blowing in the back there? Me flag always up. If you know what I'm meaning, the flag always up and ready to go. But recently, this was some of the celebrations for the 60th anniversary of our independence. Right? A lot of celebrations, a lot of things that we definitely should commemorate. But guess what? The former finance minister, the Honorable Mr. Jagan, is highlighting this.
I will end here because I've exceeded a little bit of my time by saying this and ponder it. If I get tickled, I'll continue this conversation next week. The only race in this country to have retrogressed since independence is the African Guyanese. I'm putting that out as a proposition. Y'all prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. The only race to have retrogressed since independence is African Guyanese. Now, don't tell me nothing but, oh, you think how much land you give to African Guyanese with busy grass, how much gold scholarship. What the hell that thing mean? What does it mean? Does it mean that income per capita in these households have gone up? Does it mean house ownership have gone up?
You see, when we hear these conversations coming, from Honorable Mr. Jagan, we know that it is coming from a place of understanding how our financial systems work. So you hear the passion in the presentation because he realized what's going on and the number of years that he would have served, right? It seems as if it would have been all in vain when he started highlighting some of these details right here about what's been going on in our beautiful nation. I tell you.
Tell me how much vehicle they own. People who own vehicle and have to park it on the road. But tell us, who are the security guards in this country? Tell us. Imagine your own grandmother have to go out there in the night, face sexual harassment, all these kind of things. Your grandmother is a guard. You got to be spat upon by others of the other race. That is how you're being treated. And even the civil service and the public service that I talked to you about just now, even there, you are being weeded out systematically.
Wow.
Somebody put the numbers now at 60-40, and I saw some other place 55-45. In other words, they are systematically mowing you down while denying you access into a growing private sector. But we went through this thing, and maybe we can go through it again. In this oil industry that we have, name me one African Guyanese of substance who own anything. That is where we are at 60. That is where we are at 60. I ain't got no problem with unity. I ain't got no problem with loving my brother man, my fellow man, but I will not take my eyes off of the prize. You are feeding me all these things while you hugging the prize and making certain that I can't prize open it. And the Roman amphitheater spectacle continues to feed. And if I remember next week, I will deal with it, because I said I wouldn't deal with it, but no, I will be brave enough to deal with it. When people who look like us trying to find excuses to convince us that if we got anything wrong with entertainment, people who the IDB study that came out in 2024 said growing poverty is among the African in the Latin America and the Caribbean, and that includes Guyana.
It's crazy.
But you're telling me if people are entitled to entertainment. That was never the issue. But when you frame the issue like that, you don't know how much you're buying in to their concept of your hungry belly, of your consumption orientation.
It's a crazy situation when we analyze it, Delta 9 travelers. Because listen, this thing is a systematic something, They know the access that they would have granted most persons, because a lot of we don't want to hear the conversation about self-study. A lot of we don't want to hear the conversation about doing your own independent research. So we are left at the levels at which they would have placed us over time. Because when it comes down to self-study, when it comes down to doing your own research, it's very, very important. Why? Because it's going to help your mind now to grow beyond these boundaries that they place you within, inside of this culture. Remember, anything that is cultured is cultivated to be harvested by someone at a particular point. Who's going to harvest you? Is it going to be you, or is it going to be those that have been culturing you into a position where they can now be the main beneficiary in your existence. Maybe hear about what's going on with our educational system for a while, and then we're going to jump back into some more of the analysis that's coming in from the former finance minister, because it's good to understand just how they've been molding us ever since we were young minds that needed every aspect of the environment, every aspect of our communities to now nurture us up to be the great stewards of all of these resources in our nations. Let me hear what's going on with our education system from back then and analyze why would they change it, and if we're seeing some of these similar results in our society right now. Let me hear what's going on here.
We were a colony, and the educational system was geared to produce colonists. They needed masses of laborers to provide just brute force. They needed a few clerks, so we had a few secondary schools, very good grammar school type of secondary schools. And there these potential clerks were taught to read, to write, and get some of the graces that the European gentleman would have. More important, to carry out orders, which was part of the colonial policy that not a nail, not a horseshoe should be manufactured, so there was no technical education, you didn't need it, just these clerks and the laborers. It also meant that part of the educational system was to give us certain ideas which would ensure we remained a colony. Like the good came from outside. You know, if you wanted to become a total personality, you become as nearly as possible like your British masters.
Like politics is a waste of time. When you getting involved in the politics, ever do anything for you? Or you feel like you're a nerd, like you're a know-it-all. You reading all the time, you got nothing else to go and do, go outside and play like a boy. You understand certain concepts that they put into our minds. But as we can hear from the former Minister of Education, Miss Shirley Field Ridley, giving us some insights of the past as we analyze. This is our 60th Jubilee, right? 60 years of independence. So we're looking in retrospect. We're taking some 2020 analysis. They say hindsight is 2020. So we're hearing from our elders as we analyze what's going on in our present and what we can look forward to in the future. Let me hear some more from the former finance minister before we hear from the founders of the nation, right? Two of our greatest leaders in our nation. We're going to get some more insights coming in.
Of your lack of ability, of your indiscipline, and so on. You don't know how much you're buying into that. But I'll end here for this week and continue this conversation next week. If I sound passionate today, I've always been a passionate person. I've always been a student of history. And the more I read history, is the more I get consumed over the injustice meted out to the African in the Caribbean and especially in Guyana. And when I look down the road, I don't like what I see. And I don't know if those who we depend upon to take us there, whether they have the fire in their belly to do just that. I don't think so, because I am matching them against the likes of the Critchlows and the Burnhams, right? And Guyana, and all of those who are prepared to sacrifice even their own lives to live a better for us. We got a lot of sweet skin, Facebook, social media warriors.
Telling you, powerful points being made right there by the former finance minister, the Honorable Mr. Winston Jordan, right? And he just made mention, he just made it clear that, listen, some of our great former leaders are the ones that we should look to for insights and directions. So even as we analyze what's going on in this, our 60th Jubilee, we should analyze some of the insights coming from the founder leader himself, the late, great Mr. Burnham, right? Let's get some insights from this great son of the soil.
The rich countries will be made to pay for them fairly and adequately.
Do you think the poor countries can achieve these rearrangements?
But I think if they don't achieve it, they'll perish.
Do you believe that there's no altruism in aid?
Very little, if any.
You don't think that the taxpayers who contribute and that the government who persuade them to contribute are doing so out of a spirit of trying to help?
Maybe the taxpayers, but certainly not the governments. But incidentally, I don't quarrel about this. We live in a materialist world.
Prime Minister, this year you took over a large Canadian-owned bauxite company in this country. Has that resulted in pressures from the rich world on you?
Oh, it certainly has. First of all, we have the pressures from the company itself, running down machinery and equipment, making it difficult at first for us to get inputs. And then the United States representative from the World Bank opposed a World Bank loan to us for the sea defenses. And there have been all sorts of pressures. We negotiated a loan with the United States recently, and then suddenly they said they'll have to reconsider the matter for another 7 months or thereabouts.
Why did you take over the company?
Because it is my conviction, my government's policy, and my people's belief that Guyana and all other countries like Guyana ought to own and control their natural resources.
Yeah, I'll hear it right there. Coming from the late, great Mr. Burnham, he's saying, listen, this is why we had to nationalize certain things. This is why we made certain steps. Y'all hear the mindset, right? Y'all hear the drive and the focus behind a lot of the decisions that was made in the past that would mold us into this nation that we are 60 years down the road. But, you know, right over here at Delta 9 Media, we're going to analyze every aspect as to what's going on. So we're going to get some information coming from across the political spectrum, coming in from the late, great leader himself, Dr. Cheddi Jagan. He's going to give us some insights as well about what was going on in the past. You see, when we take a 2020 analysis and we look back, this is when we could now move forward with a foundation of better understanding so that we could, you know, make better decisions as a nation. So we don't keep going in a circle again, so that the next 5, 10, 15 years down the line, when we look back and say we're going on at 65, 70, 75, we're going on at 100, we could say, well, yes, we would have made this amount of progress. We would have made this amount of growth, right? Remember, we the people are the ones that are going to decide what kind of nation we have. Let's get some of these details coming in right now from the Honorable Doctor himself.
And that is very important to the population here as well as of concern to the people overseas, is that to date, you've kept some of your campaign promises. The price of rice has been readjusted. I heard this morning that old age pensions are going to be adjusted. And of course, the cost of food, flour has been reduced by about $200 per bag. Is this a trend that you hope to continue until you bring all the prices and the cost of living down?
Yes, because our government principally will be a government which will be looking after the working people's interest and to achieve not just economic growth, but human development. Meaning we must tackle the basic needs of the people. And the cost of living is very high in this country, and we want to ensure that the life of the people is improved.
Wow. So we're hearing from the Honorable Doctor back then that he's going to make sure that he adjusts and that the party makes certain adjustments to what's going on with cost of living. Back then, what's going on right now? What are the policies that are being put in place to remedy cost of living? Or some persons forgetting the directive of the ones that are passed on. Some people forgetting the directive of the ones that would have built the very parties that they now lead. As we analyze both sides, because remember, PNC and the PPP are the two largest political movements with the largest history, right? Collectively and separatively, if we're supposed to think about it, the two largest political parties. This is the insights coming from the leaders of those two parties. What are your views, Delta 9 travelers? Drop it into the comment section. Let's have some meaningful conversation about this. And if you're subscribed yet, it don't cost you nothing, but it will keep you connected with every single thing that's trending in Guyana and in the diaspora. So make sure that you subscribe. And get my pong body. It don't cost you nothing for hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up the video. Thumbs up the video. That's the free way to support Delta 9 Media. And, right, become a channel member. Join the team. Support independent media. Let's hear some more from the Honorable Doctor.
However, this got to be done in a measured way because, unfortunately, the Treasury is empty and we are faced with a huge debt burden, and over 90% of the revenues of the country is earmarked for debt payments. So we have inherited a lot of problems, but we are committed to having a government which will be geared towards human development, that is meeting the basic needs of the people and ensuring that their democratic rights and freedoms are exercised to the fullest. Yeah. We also want to embark on what we call lean and clean government. By lean, to stop any kind of extravagance. We are looking at things like salaries of certain people, permanent secretaries and others, political advisors of the previous administration, who are earning fantastic salaries and allowances and all kind of privileges, and we are cutting those out to the bare bone, what is essentially necessary for having a lean government, a government which does not waste the people's money. We are looking, for instance, at the Foreign Service. The Foreign Ministry of Foreign Affairs is costing the taxpayers 1.2 billion Guyana dollars, which is more than is spent for health, education, fire service, and sea defenses.
But I'm telling you, Honorable Doctor, if you're to analyze what's going on right now in the country, with the amount of money persons are paying to lobby, with the amount of money being wasted in poor infrastructural development, and we ain't talking poor as if you spend a little bit of money for do the infrastructural development. We're talking about the fact that a set of money paying and you don't see no return on investment. The ROI is little to none, right? There's so many things. When we take that 2020 analysis and we look back and we hear from great leaders like the late great Dr. Cheddi Jagan himself, or the late great Mr. Burnham himself, we said to ourselves that, hey, something got to give, something got to change, right? You hear what the finance minister is saying? Black people is some of the only people in Guyana that move backwards, allegedly, since independence. And that's an analysis coming from one of the greatest financial minds in our country right now. Both parties could tell you, both of the big parties would tell you about the Honorable Mr. Jordan. I'm telling you, as we analyze what's really going on in our beautiful nation, because if we don't take it serious, who will? Who's going to take we serious? Let me get some information coming in from the Honorable Mr. Todd in one of his most recent presentations. He was highlighting this, a very interesting point about what's going on with our infrastructural development as we're talking about, because it's May, June, right? Everybody in Guyana know May, June time is rain. We gotta deal with certain amounts of flooding if drains and things in the area are not maintained in the right manner. But guess what? We got flooding, we got funding, but we see no solutions. What really going on? Let me hear from Honorable Mr. Todd about some of the details related to this situation.
Unprecedented rainfalls. The type of rainfalls that we have had are rainfalls that we continue to see. But as we say, this PPPC's government seems to be more of a reactive government. If we know that rains are going to fall in May, June, or in this period of time, you don't wait. I see government ministers, they're walking. His Excellency, the President, is seen at parts with a shovel, now digging to open parts of the road to break the soil so that water can flow out. Listen to me. All these antics and all these optics that they're trying to create, what does it do for a critical assessment of their performance? It can only go one way, that they are reacting to a situation, whereas a careful government could have been more proactive.
Proactive versus reactive. Was the measures being put in place from before? We talking about it over here on Delta 9 Media, you know. We saying, listen, May, June coming. What we putting in place? Because since before May, June, they had a cleanup campaign, the one-time thing, if you remember. Right? So we're saying what more is being put in place, because with all of this trash and stuff like that that persons is claiming is causing these problems, what is really going to be done to make sure that the problems is not going to be worse come later in the year when the rains do come? I'm telling you. You can analyze it, you know. You can analyze it. Make sure that you're a part of what's going on right here on Delta 9 Media. Subscribe, because we got so many things that we got to update one another with.
8 Butterfly Black Seed, loaded with antioxidants and essential nutrients for your body's needs. Breathe better, feel better, live healthier. All the benefits of black seed oil without the taste. 8 Butterfly Black Seed Capsule. No matter where in the world, we love Guyana. What are your colors? How do you represent? I love Guyana. Order yours today. We ship worldwide. Delta 9 Media.
One love, one people, the mission complete. One love, one flag, one nation, right? Under the stars, divine presence in the sky. Unity, no war, let the children thrive. Power to the people, we keep hope alive.
I'm telling you, power to the people, right? We're the ones that's going to keep hope alive. I want to say a special shout out to the frequent traveler on the channel who would have gifted me one of those jackets. Listen, I got a rocket on the show. I got to make sure I rocket on the show. I want to say a special thank you to the supporters of the channel, right? So we're going to represent in our colors, because listen, every party got its part to play in the nation, and collectively we could make the country into the country that we want to experience. But we can't make it into nothing if we got a whole lot of corrupt individuals in certain positions of power. Let me hear what's going on here from the Honorable Dr. Todd.
Meaning, you know rains are coming. You ensure that all your pumps are up and running. You ensure that drainage in all areas, especially areas in which waters must flow through, are done properly. There are no garbage. Garbage are removed from the areas. You prepare. You prepare. You don't wait until the rain falls. Listen.
And if the doctor making sense what we saying, drop it in the comment section, because they just pay attention. Processors pay attention to this platform, you know. This is one of the largest platforms on the internet right now that is doing content in this manner, that is not connected to international news syndicate or local news syndicate. We're completely independent, right? Completely independent. We present the information in one of the most neutral manners that you're gonna get it online. You understand?
I don't know how you are not recognizing by now how
people recognizing
PPC thrive. This government and party, they thrive by creating a problem. They like to create, they like to see the existence of catastrophe, and then they jump in. What will it take? Now, and someone has mentioned it, I don't recall who I read it from on Facebook, made a comment, and they are right. The problems, the government's outreach are moving from communities to communities. The complaints they are hearing are complaints that have been around for as long as I can remember. These are complaints that have been there for years. They have not listened and have not highlighted any new phenomena in this society that requires government's intervention. Government's intervention are required in the same issue that keeps happening year after year, month after month. Had they only taken note of it?
They're perpetuating the same system over and over again, keeping you in a loop. Can't find your way out. You just feel like another cog in the wheel. You're walking to pay bills, I'm telling you, and you're paying bills just so that you could survive, and you're going back to work again. You're struggling through a lot of situations when you don't need to because of the policies that are in place. And the persons that are elected to put policies in place so that these situations can be remedied. Where's the remedy? And when is this remedy coming? It seems like this remedy is only coming for certain persons, as we're going to hear right now from a cousin that, listen, sure none, we don't want a cousin like this, buddy. Because with a cousin like this, you don't need no treacherous enemies.
Families, friends, cronies, favorites, contracts goes those way. On the East Bank here, they have a system of corruption, heavily corruption though, not no ordinary corruption. I can pinpoint a few of the corruptions that's happening. So when a contract is being given out, right? Like I was on the drive when they given out this contract, these small contracts where they had to use up this amount of money in order to go into the next one. Yeah. So when they're given out these contracts, there are several things that involve in the corruption and things that is amusing, right?
Break it down for us.
And number one is that the Speaker of the House, Mr. Manzoor Nadir, he would usually come with me and he would sing his karaoke, have a nice time or whatever, and so, right? And being involved in that environment, they have a system, as I said earlier, there's a system of corruption, and they shut you out very fast because of the level of corruption. They don't want people like me to know about the corruption because I'm a plain speaker, point blank. Mr. Manzoor Nadir is the Speaker of the House. The Constitution of this country allows him to be impartial. He's not supposed to be involved in the politics, right? Corruption starts from there. Mr. Manzoor Nadir was actively involved in all the contracts on the East Bank.
This is the kind of thing we're going on in the country, buddy. Allegedly. Allegedly. So when you're hearing things like this, it brings us back to the conversation that the finance minister, the former finance minister, the Honorable Mr. Jordan, was just highlighting. It brings us back to the conversation that the Honorable Dr. Todd was just having with us right there again. The same situations all the time just keep repeating itself to the fact where persons start to feel like if this thing is just a normal thing, people just corrupt. This is just what's going to be going on all the time. Oh, the road them, you build them a couple of days, next couple of days is a big hole in it. That's just what's going on. It's a normal thing. Persons involved in certain ways that they shouldn't be involved with the dealings in the nation. It was a normal thing. It's just, you know, that's just GT, but they don't know thing is go. But that's the reason why we got such a large amount of persons, even though we got one of the fastest growing economies, best climate, fresh food, country that could supply itself with food, this, that, and the third. We got so many persons that are running to other parts of the world looking for betterment. Brain drain in the nation. You're hearing persons crying out about the lack of the labor force. Persons is not in the country to provide labor to keep certain industries moving how it should. The nurses, the doctors, them glad for move. What's going on with we? This is some of the things right here.
We were being distributed.
That was being distributed. I drove him around these bank.
Okay, tell us some more about that.
So he would drive, he would go, he has his vehicle, I have a party vehicle, and we would carry him to the locations. Right? That is to identify the projects that need to be done. There are engineers in the Ministry of Public Works who has a list of who make a list of all the programs, and then up to that point we know about. The disbursement of the contract is what we don't know about, because the disbursement of the contract is where the corruption lies. That is where the corruption lies. So I could walk in. Look, I want to use one example. There's a bridge that built in Grove, between the Squatting Grove and the Old Grove, direct at Third Street and Jimbo Bridge. That's a bridge built, a big bridge built to facilitate large vehicle. Right? This was a fine, narrow bridge.
Yeah, I know that bridge.
Right? Where people used to walk. Now they built a big bridge. That bridge no feasibility study was done. Right? I was involved in contract too, in the government. I know about contracts. No feasibility study was done. No public consultation, one of the most fundamental thing in the community. Public consultation was not done on the bridge. Now the resident complained, the bridge wanted to end the bridge like this, and the other one like this. So the neighbor on their side, every time the rain fall, she yard flood. So how is it that, and who you think was in charge of the project? The vice chairman of the NDC.
How the country could develop with things like this going on. Big up to the Honorable Mr. Maipal for this bombshell interview. And we must commend the bravery of the brother for stepping forward and for highlighting these levels of corruption that's going on in our nation. Some of these things we might never hear about, allegedly. Allegedly. So big up yourself and thanks for highlighting these things, because these is the things that's holding the country back. If we want to know some of the things that's holding we back from moving forward, or we should, these are some of the things, Delta 9 travelers. What y'all think about this? Drop it in the comment section, right? Make sure that you subscribe because there's so many other things that we got to make sure we update one another with right here on Delta 9 Media. Let's get pound. Make sure you thumbs up the video before you leave. One love, and I'll catch you in the next one.
%100% wild-crafted sea moss. Only the best, 'cause you deserve nothing less. 8 Butterfly.